Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
This morning, new allegations about the links that former President Donald Trump went to try to overturn the election. I'm Alex Brachet in Washington. I'll have details coming up.
Outside with live cam, feels more like South Florida than South Texas out there this morning. Workweek forecast is coming up with Mike Osterhage. Good morning to you. It is Monday. It is January 25th. Here's Sarah Costa.
Hey, Mark Austin. Happy Monday. Yeah, it definitely feels like Florida out there. I opened the door to let my dogs out this morning. Instantly got that, that heat in the back of your neck, where just like that heavy humidity is on you. Ooh.
At least it's not as bad as yesterday, where we had that kind of foggy, drizzly stuff hanging around all day long. Mike Osterhage is joining us now with more on what can we expect from our day. Mike?
Good morning, everybody. And it's going to be changing very quickly. So, no, it will not be sticking around all day long like yesterday. But, you just got to get through stepping outside and letting your dog out like Sarah did. Here's a look out there at the airport. You can see the sheen on the highway on 410 there. So a lot of that's left over from yesterday. Also, there's been a little mist around here. We do have a couple of sprinkles. There is some fog. Bernie Stage, Kerrville, Hondo has fog. Pleasanton as well. So we'll be dealing with some of that and more fog out there to the west from Uvalde down toward Carrizo Springs. Also, there are a couple of showers. There's, two lines of rain. The first one sliding on in here, another one out there in parts of the hill country. That second one is basically along the cool front, which is moving along fairly quickly. So by the latter portion of the morning commute, that front should be moving on through here. The wind's going to shift around. That's going to pull in some cooler temperatures. Not a big cold snap, but it's just going to get rid of the 70 right now that we have. Look at that. We've got mid 60s out there in the hill country. Also, it's going to get rid of all this humidity, so it's going to be much more pleasant later on today. As far as the allergens, mountain cedar still on the high side, mold really high thanks to all the moisture we've had around here and throughout the rest of today. So we are going to be right around 62 degrees or so at 7 o'clock this morning. So we'll continue to drop down once that front moves on through, maybe even a few more degrees by 8 o'clock and then bounce back right around the low 70s later on today. It's going to be windy today. Winds out of the northwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Good looking day. Nice looking week. Got a couple of fronts doing a little bit of a roller coaster with temperatures. Details in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Samuel King. Good morning, sir. How's the weekend?
Good morning, Mike. My weekend was fine, but it was quite busy on the roads across the area. Lots of crashes and accidents, but this morning things look okay. Still have some residual construction. This is going to be at Loop 410 and 151. Some construction 410, some construction on 151 that should be wrapping up within the half hour, but things are flowing well there. Also have construction on 281. That's between Belverde and 1604 this morning, but things looking fine there as well. That also wrapping up at 5 a.m. And here's a look at TransGuide 410 at Fredericksburg and 35 at New Braunfels Avenue. Things flowing well. Mark and Sarah, over to you.
Thank you, Samuel. New this morning, the Bexar County Sheriff's Office asking for the public's help in identifying two suspects involved in a shooting last week. Investigators say the shooting happened back on January 22nd at the Timeout Sports Bar in the 8000 block of FM 78. Witnesses told sheriff's deputies the two men walked up to a parked black truck in the area and fired several gunshots, striking the pickup. The truck left the area after being shot at, and the suspects fled towards a Quest gas station nearby, deputies said. Other vehicles at the bar were also hit by gunfire, but no injuries were reported. If you have any information that could help, call Crime Stoppers at 210-224-STOP. Other news this morning, a 20-year-old woman is dead after crashing her vehicle into a pole head-on. According to police on the scene, it happened yesterday afternoon, the 200 block of Candler Street. Officers say the woman was alone in the car at the time. Witnesses say she got out of the car after the crash but fell down. She later died at the scene. It's unclear what caused the crash. Her identity remains unknown at this time.
We now know the name of the man that was killed in a late-night shooting on Friday. The Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office says the victim is identified as 30-year-old Chris Cooper. The shooting happened around 9 p.m. in the 1900 block of Hayes Street. When police arrived on scene, officers say they found two victims inside a car with several gunshot wounds. Cooper, the passenger, was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver was taken to the hospital in critical condition. So far, no arrests have been made.
An 18-wheeler carrying hundreds of boxes of more than $200,000 worth of honeybees rolled over on I-35 near the Fine Silver Curve Sunday evening. First responders say they suspect the cargo was heading from Florida to California. Bee removal experts continue to clean up efforts long into the evening after. SAPD says it was a combination of bad weather, speed, and unfamiliarity with the area that caused the truck carrying more than 400 boxes of honeybees to crash. Fire personnel on scene contacted Vespid Pest Control to assist as the swarms of bees kept the driver of the 18-wheeler trapped inside.
They needed our help because of the bees. They were just too aggressive. They were everywhere. They were all over the side of the highway.
Fire crews used a spray foam to get the bees under control, and unfortunately, most of them died in the process. It took at least 14 fire trucks, TxDOT and Vespid Pest Control to help with the cleanup. Now in the latest involving the impeachment showdown, the House expected to deliver impeachment article against former President Donald Trump to the Senate today, formally launching trial proceedings.
However, some Senate Republicans have argued that the trial would be unconstitutional. ABC's Alex Perche has this story.
In a matter of hours, the House will send that single article of impeachment to the Senate. And this morning, Democrats are voicing outrage over new allegations that former President Donald Trump considered using his Justice Department to try to overturn the election.
As if it's not enough that he sent an angry mob down the mall to invade the Capitol.
The Wall Street Journal reports that Trump wanted the department to sue states in the Supreme Court. And when that plan failed, the New York Times says he allegedly plotted to remove his acting attorney general and replace him with a loyalist who was willing to help him fight President Joe Biden's victory in Georgia. The Justice Department hasn't commented on those reports, and Trump hasn't addressed these specific allegations against him.
Fight like hell.
The former president is already charged with incitement of insurrection after he urged his supporters to march to the Capitol. His impeachment trial now scheduled to start the week of February 8th.
It will be fair, but it will move at a relatively fast pace.
Democrats would need at least 17 Republicans to vote to convict Trump. GOP leader Mitch McConnell hasn't said how he'll vote, but a growing number of Republicans are now blasting the trial before it even begins.
I think the trial is stupid. I think it's counterproductive. We already have a flaming fire in this country, and it's like taking a bunch of gasoline and pouring it on top of the fire.
On Tuesday, senators will be sworn in as jurors, but both sides have agreed to delay the trial for 2 weeks. That'll allow the Trump team more time to prepare and also give Democrats a chance to confirm President Biden's cabinet nominations and work on other legislation. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
Right now it's 4:37, 70 degrees on your Monday morning.
Just ahead, a new experiment to help detect COVID-19. Details on the new dog detection.
Plus, thousands of troops are expected to remain in the nation's capital for a few more months. What the National Guard says it will be doing to help during that time.
Take a look outside with live cam. 70 degrees this morning, muggy out there. But Mike says we have a cool front on the way. He'll explain when we come back. In your morning headlines, the National Guard says roughly 7,000 members will remain in Washington, D.C. through the end of the month. By mid-March, that number will drop down to 5,000. It says troops will be providing assistance with security, communications, medical, evacuation, logistics, and safety support to state, district, and federal agencies.
President Joe Biden expected to lift the ban on transgender people in the military earlier this week. The White House press secretary said that the move would come early in his presidency. Now an inside source said it could happen as early as today. Former President Trump instituted the ban after announcing it in a 2017 tweet.
And former White House press secretary Sarah Sanders appears poised for a gubernatorial run in Arkansas. A source with knowledge of the situation says she's expected to make that announcement Monday. Sanders served under former President Donald Trump. The current Arkansas governor is reaching his term limit.
442, 70 degrees.
Still ahead on GMSA, a look at last night's Spurs game against Washington Wizards, in case you missed it, plus details on their next game.
And one NBA team's experimental plan to sniff out coronavirus details if it could be the future of big events.
Welcome back. A team in the NBA is experimenting with a new defense against the coronavirus. COVID-19 detection dogs. ABC's Victor Okendo has the details in today's GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, how COVID-sniffing dogs could hold the key to getting fans back into seats for the Miami Heat's basketball games, something the organization says it's been working on for months. Similar to the canines on patrol at airports around the world, later this week the Miami Heat will station specially trained dogs at entrances to the American Airlines Arena to try to sniff out the virus that causes COVID-19. Here's the plan. Dogs will sniff fans before entering by walking past them. If the dog sits, that signals they may have detected COVID-19, and that fan will be asked to leave along with their group and given a full refund.
It's really, really interesting. Dogs are amazing creatures, and their noses are way more powerful than ours.
Coming up at 7 a.m., we dive into whether this Pooch Patrol will work to keep spectators safe. Is this the future of big live events? With your GMA First Look, I'm Victor Okendo, ABC News, Miami.
San Antonio Spurs capped off a busy night on the court with a win over the Washington Wizards. Last night, Spurs-Wizards played stride for stride in the first half, but the Silver and Black were able to pull away in the second half. Led by DeJounte Murray's triple-double, Spurs outscored the Wizards 21 points in the second half. San Antonio leading over the Spurs. I think that was a final. San Antonio beats the Wizards 121-101. Spurs took advantage of a rusty Wizards team who played their first game in 2 weeks last night because they haven't had enough eligible players due to the NBA COVID-19 protocol. Up next, Spurs taking on the Pelicans, and that's coming up. Also, we've got the New Orleans here on Monday night. Spurs play
football coverage powered by Davis Law Firm.
All right, meanwhile, the Super Bowl has been determined. The Chiefs will go head-to-head with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Sunday, February 7th, 5:30 p.m., Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. This will be the first time in the NFL history that a team has played the Super Bowl in their home stadium. Bucs last won their Super Bowl in 2002.
Mark, are you happy with those teams?
I think it's going to be an amazing matchup.
I agree.
New guard versus old guard. Brady versus Mahomes. You can't beat that.
No. All right, Samuel King. I hope your teams, they were your picks as well.
Well, I mean, my team is long out of the thing. So this will be interesting. It's interesting to see that it's the first team playing at home. Of course, it's Tom Brady's involved with that. Like that would be sort of the capper to everything. But on the roads, things looking fine this morning as we transition to that. Saw a few delays on Bandera Road early this morning, so 11 minutes between 1604 and 410. And looking out to the north and east, half an hour if you're coming in on I-10 from Seguin right now, so that's a good time. 26 minutes if you're coming in from the New Braunfels area to downtown San Antonio. And here's a look at TransGuide. 1604 at Bandera, as we mentioned, looks fine, as does 35 at 37, guys.
That's your team, Giants?
Yes.
Giants, yeah.
Yes.
We're in the same boat.
Yes. At least our coach isn't talking about like taking out kneecaps or whatever.
Yeah, and the Lions are putting Matthew Stafford up on the trading block. So that was kind of interesting development for your team, Mike.
And he's agreed to that too. They were talking about it, I guess, because he's getting older and maybe he can still, they can get some money for him. And interesting.
Well, they have a new front office in Detroit. Anyway, let's talk a little bit more about the weather. And
mark my words, next year
you'll be disappointed again?
I'll be saying the same thing. Anyway, hey, come on, folks, be nice. Anyway, take a look at this picture. Carrizo Springs, gorgeous, gorgeous sunset out there. This was from a couple of days ago. Some clouds hanging around. It was just one of those murky kind of sit on the couch and watch football kind of days yesterday. So lived up to that. Thank you for the KSAT Connect picture. And this morning, it is murky. It is warm. It's humid. You can see it's still a little bit damp on 410. So just take it easy on the roads this morning. And there is a little bit more dampness coming. Now, it's not obviously a lot, and it actually looks like this is sort of fizzling on out. A couple of these little sprinkles are working their way to the basically east, southeast. Not much, just enough to, again, add to the slipperiness on the roads. And then behind that, sort of a secondary line, which also appears to be kind of fizzling out, but some of these little sprinkly showers will continue to work their way down in toward Lake Uvalde, and that's basically along the front that's moving on through. So we've got visibility, Rock Springs, 10 miles, and then 2.5 Kerrville. This is all the humidity right along. So as that cooler air is trying to come in here and it runs in all that humidity, and that's what's forming some of this fog. So we'll have to watch out for a little bit of this fog as well. Dew points, of course, are just sky high. I mean, this is like late spring kind of humidity out there. Back up well above 60 in just about all locations. Look at the dry air, though, coming in here. Junction, Rock Springs, humidity drops down. So that's along and just behind that front that is going to be sliding on through here. And it will be fairly quickly in the next about 3-4 hours. We will start to see the wind shift around. Dry air comes on in here. Gets rid of the humidity, obviously. Things are going to be clearing out. Beautiful afternoon. It is going to be warm. We'll make it back up into the low 70s, so about 6-7 degrees above normal. We keep low humidity around tomorrow, a little bit cooler in the morning. And just when it tries to come back in here, we get another reinforcing shot of drier and cooler air for Thursday. So we're going to go from 70s and then only in the, say, mid-upperish 50s by Thursday. But that's not going to be very long-lived because we're bouncing right back up into the 70s by the weekend. So today, 67 degrees, a lot of sunshine at noon. Again, the front, all the changes are going to be taking place just about as the morning commute is coming to an end between 8-9 o'clock-ish. And then later on this afternoon, again, plenty of sunshine, 72 for a high temperature. Now, tomorrow it is going to be cooler in the morning and down to 48 degrees. Still not quite down to where we should be, but more pleasant morning. Nice big warm up throughout the day. Milder Wednesday, 65, down a little bit. Cool front comes through, only 58 on Thursday, and some colder starts there. But again, right back into the 70s by the weekend. So another little springy weekend.
Mike, are we done with these early morning freezes almost?
You know, it's funny because Justin and I were talking about that just the other day, and you still got February. And I got to hedge my bets on this one because, like I said last week, February can always be kind of on the squirrely side. So not going there yet.
Those squirrels.
All right. Thank you, Mike. 452, 70 degrees on your Monday.
Two legendary movie monsters going toe-to-toe in a film that was supposed to have opened in November. Coming up next, a look at the new Godzilla vs. Kong trailer.
Here are your lottery numbers. Pick 3, 359, Fireball 0. Daily 4 numbers 7987, Fireball 6.
Cash 5, 10, 11, 15, 31, 35. Texas Lotto 9, 18, 22, 25, 27, 46. And Powerball 5, 8, 17, 27, 28. Powerball 14. Power Play 3.
A star from The Office getting ready to host the new season of Saturday Night Live. Plus, the first full-length trailer for Godzilla vs. Kong has been released.
For the latest on what's happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Christopher Watson.
It's Saturday Night Live. When Saturday Night Live returns for season 47 on January 30th, John Krasinski will make his hosting debut. Better late than never, he was scheduled to host last spring ahead of the planned release of the sequel to his hit horror flick A Quiet Place. Then that debut and SNL both got put on hold due to the pandemic. Schitt's Creek star Dan Levy and Oscar winner Regina King will host the February 6th and 13th SNL editions. A Quiet Place 2 is now scheduled to open September 17th.
It's Godzilla.
We've got our first full-length trailer for Godzilla vs. Kong, and it's exactly what it sounds like. The two legendary movie monsters going toe-to-toe in a film that was supposed to have opened in November. Now it'll premiere in theaters and on HBO Max March 26th.
This kid didn't bring any of this on himself.
Liam Neeson's The Marksman topped the pandemic box office for a second week in a row, earning another $2 million. And Grammy-winning singer-songwriter Alicia Keys is 40 Monday. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Christopher Watson, ABC News.
Right now it is 457, 70 degrees.
Well, still ahead in our next half hour, the latest on the Russians who hacked into federal agencies, how cybersecurity experts say they managed to weasel their way in.
Plus everything you need to know when it comes to the COVID-19 vaccines here in Bexar County. Details on when and how you can schedule an appointment.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
The latest involving the coronavirus here in Bexar County, where our numbers now stand and when the next sign up is for vaccines.
Unusually mild weather continues on this early Monday morning. Outside, a live look back towards downtown. 70 degrees at San Antonio International. Mike's forecast coming up. Good morning, everybody. Hope you had an awesome weekend. It's Monday, January 25th.
So happy to be with you guys on the weekday for GMSA. And, you know, I'm looking forward to these temperatures that will hopefully cool things off, Mike.
Yes, we do have a front moving on through here later on this morning, and it's not going to be a big cold snap, but it will knock temperatures down. It's going to knock this humidity out of the air because, boy, is it sultry when you step outside this morning. We are at 70 dew point. Measure moisture in the atmosphere. We always talk about how you get above 60. You notice it? We're above 60, 66, in some places even higher than that. And there's also a lot of mist. Now, temperatures are going to be dropping down and then rebounding back up into about the low 70s later on today. And as far as the aquifer is concerned, did go up 1/10 of a foot yesterday. And the allergens, mold is on the high side, and hopefully getting rid of this humidity is going to help to bring that number down a little bit. Mountain cedar is also on the high side. It's going to be interesting to see what the latest front does to that, whether we are coming to the end of the season or not. So we got a couple of sprinkles. We had a lot of mist, some light sprinkles around yesterday, and still we had some overnight. And then you can see there's a few more, but both of these lines really are not much to write home about. I mean, this is going to maybe add a little bit of, some slipperiness to the roads. That'll be about it. And then the one in behind it, that is basically along the front. Now, we do have some fog it's sort of being developed right there or being kicked up right as the front's moving on through with all the humidity and that colder air is trying to run into it, or cooler air, I should say. Visibility is down to 1 mile in Uvalde, but notice how things clear out very nicely out here northwest parts of the hill country because that's right in behind that front. So once that moves through, it's going to be breezy. Winds out of the northwest at about 10-20 miles per hour, gusting from there. Sunny. Gorgeous day. Tomorrow, sunny and warm again. We get up into the low 70s both days. Then we have another couple of fronts moving on through here. The one today, another one on Wednesday, and that's going to knock temperatures back down. Then it's going to warm right back up for the weekend. So keep a jacket handy, but you won't need it that often. We'll explain coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Samuel King, anything big going on out there?
So far, so good, Mike. And like the weekend we had, which was pretty busy, but you can see a lot of green on the map right now. So if you're someone who heads out early, this is a good time to hit the roads. Let's look at I-10 to the northwest from Bernie into downtown San Antonio, 25 minutes right now. So that's looking like a good time. And then inside 1604, 12, 13 minutes either way between downtown and 1604 and I-10. Other travel times, 26 minutes coming in from New Braunfels, 28 minutes coming in from the south on 35, from Pleasanton, 21 minutes on 90 coming into downtown San Antonio from Castroville. And here's a look at TransGuide right now, 35 at 37 downtown, looking okay this morning. Mark, Sarah, over to you.
A shooting between neighbors led San Antonio police to the same southeast side neighborhood in one night.
That shooting happened last night in the 2200 block of Hicks Avenue and Clark Avenue.
Our Stephen Cavazos live this morning with the latest. Stephen, we understand this all started with a dog?
That's right, Mark. Good morning. Now, we are told that by San Antonio police, they were actually in the neighborhood earlier that evening responding to what they say was a disturbance over the dog. However, it was sometime before 11. They say things quickly escalated between the two neighbors when one of them brought a gun to the argument and ended up pulling the trigger. Now, we are told that a man in his 30s was rushed to SAMC with a gunshot graze to the head. But police say the suspect actually ran from the scene but was later caught. Now, we still don't know what actually led to the shooting, and police have not said if the dog is what led to the altercation between the two men. However, we are told the man that was rushed to the hospital is expected to recover from his injuries. However, his neighbor now faces an aggravated assault charge. Mark, Sarah?
Thank you, Stephen. We'll begin our coronavirus coverage this morning with another sharp increase in deaths. San Antonio city officials announced 289 new cases and 16 new deaths today. While that case number may seem low, Mayor Ron Nirenberg says this may be due to a delay in receiving testing results from the state. Now to local hospitalizations, there are 1,381 people admitted, 407 are in the ICU, and 251 are on ventilators. 138 of those were admitted in just the past 24 hours.
City of San Antonio expecting to deliver more than 25,000 doses of both the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines this week. This according to the Texas Department of State Health Services. The doses will be divided between 3 major hubs offering vaccinations. Metro Health will get 9,000 for the Alamo Dome. WellMed will receive 5,800 doses split between 2 locations, and University Health will get more than 10,000 for the clinic at the Wonderland of the Americas.
And if you need to make an appointment, you can still contact 311 to schedule one with Metro Health at the Alamo Dome. For those hoping to schedule with WellMed, the reservation hotline will reopen this Saturday, January 30th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. That number is on your screen right now, 833-968-1745. Appointments at the 2 WellMed locations will begin again in February.
We understand some people may be concerned still as to whether the vaccines are safe. That's why we're dedicated an hour to the COVID-19 vaccines next Wednesday. We're looking into the science behind it. That would actually be this Wednesday. How they were developed so quickly and what they mean for the future. The vaccines ending the COVID-19 pandemic airs January 27th, 7 p.m. right here on KSAT, KSAT.com, and the KSAT TV app. Right now, it's 5:06, 70 degrees.
And still ahead on GMSA, the brother of a former U.S. Secret Service agent may have been involved in the Capitol riots earlier this month.
3 weeks ago, we brought you the first story here on GMSA. A firework disaster left 2 young men without hands and fingers. Sarah Acosta spoke with one of those victims. She'll have the story for you after the break.
Take a look outside with live cam. 70 degrees at 5:06 this morning. It's muggy and humid out there, but Mike says that may clear up with some cool temps on the way. He'll explain when we come back.
And now to an update on a story we brought you here on GMSA 3 weeks ago. A street racing meetup at Eisenhower Flea Market on the northeast side turned into a disaster. 2 young men losing limbs and fingers due to fireworks.
And one of those victims was 19-year-old Michael Sexton. He and his mother met with me back at the very scene where his life changed forever in a split second.
It was difficult at first, just pulling up. It's kind of like miniature PTSD, I want to say. I don't know, changed my whole perspective on life.
19-year-old Michael Sexton back at the parking lot where a firework exploded in his face and hands on January 3rd. It started as a street racing meetup. Michael said he didn't know the majority of people there. A friend had invited him because he has an interest in cars. Then it turned disastrous.
Since New Year's was around the corner, has just passed, everyone had fireworks, everyone was throwing them. And someone asked me for a lighter. Simple as that. Changed my life forever.
I was on scene that morning covering the aftermath, where you could still see debris from the accident that left a 20-year-old man without hands and Michael without fingers.
You can really see the firework debris left behind, all this red confetti.
The story went viral on social media, especially after someone posted the video of the horrific accident. It has since been taken down.
I lost a third of 3 fingers. Pieces out my pinky, broke both hands, probably losing some vision in my right eye. It's gonna be a hard year.
Michael met with us to tell his story after several negative comments online. He says the young man holding the firework didn't know it had been previously lit, who had asked Michael for the lighter.
I'd rather say my own story than people just make up their belief of what happened, saying it was a dumb choice, which it was, but like they could have known, like I could have known. And I didn't even know the firework was previously lit.
Surgeons told Michael until the wounds in his hands heal and they can take out the pins, will they know if he'll be able to use his hands again.
Like I was told, I went to BAMC, it's a military hospital, and they told me it looked like something straight out of a combat field. It's basically a miniature bomb.
Michael doesn't have insurance and lost his job at an automobile service store because of his injury. His mother moving her life from California to take care of her son as he takes a year to recover. She says there needs to be more awareness about the dangers of fireworks and prays it won't happen again.
I wouldn't want this to happen to anybody else. My baby's bad enough. You know, I hope if it helped one person from it not happening to them, then it was worth coming out here.
You know, Mark, and one of the things that Michael and his mother both told me, they're from California, and in California, They are very, very strict with fireworks. I used to live there, and I was surprised that you can't get a hold of fireworks, especially anything that shoots into the sky. Everything is, you know, sparklers or anything on the ground, and still with those are very strict. So coming up at 6 p.m. tonight, we kind of explore the differences between those firework laws across state lines.
Sarah, I got to ask you, since you're the one that did the story, for people that are watching right now, fireworks are inherently dangerous. We know that.
Yes.
Everybody knows that. Did he say how he didn't know the firework he was holding was already lit? Did he explain that at all?
So basically what happened, the person next to him was holding that firework. That person who was holding that firework didn't know it had been previously lit. Michael happened to be standing next to that guy. And he said that young man looked at him and said, "Hey, do you have a lighter?" Because he had saw Michael holding a lighter. And next thing you know, Michael said, there's an explosion in his face.
Okay, I don't get it still, but we'll talk more about it later. Thank you, Sarah. 5:14 right now, 70 degrees.
Well, still ahead, the next move in formally impeaching former President Donald Trump is expected to happen today.
Station wagons making a comeback? Yeah, it appears so, and they're faster than ever. We'll talk about a new breed of station wagon dropping the wood paneling and exchanging it for a little bit of carbon fiber.
I'm still discovering what's next and still going for my best, even though I live with a higher risk of stroke due to AFib not caused by a heart valve problem. So if there's a better treatment than warfarin, I'm reaching for that. Eliquis. Eliquis is proven to reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, plus has significantly less major bleeding than warfarin. Eliquis is FDA approved and has both. What's next? I'm on board.
Don't stop taking Eliquis unless your doctor tells you to, as stopping increases your risk of having a stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve or abnormal bleeding. While taking Eliquis, you may bruise more easily, and it may take longer than usual for any bleeding to stop. Seek immediate medical care for sudden signs of bleeding, like unusual bruising. Eliquis may increase your bleeding risk if you take certain medicines. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Ask your doctor about Eliquis, and if your ability to afford your medication has changed, we want to help.
In today's Tech Bites, a mass logout for Facebook users. It started Friday night when some users were unexpectedly logged out of their accounts. The social media platform is blaming a configuration change for the problem. Everything was fixed by Saturday. Apple is poised to announce the first $100 billion quarter in company history. The numbers are driven by strong performance of the iPhone 12 and high demand for Macs and iPads, with workers and students still at home during this pandemic. Finally, the station wagon is dropping the wood paneling and going high-tech. A new wagon from Audi features 22-inch wheels and can go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.5 seconds. And a new wagon from Mercedes has 603 horsepower. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
House Democrats set to deliver the articles of impeachment against former President Donald Trump to the U.S. Senate today. The move would have formally started Trump's second impeachment trial, but on Friday, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Mitch McConnell agreed to delay it till February 9th. This gives the House impeachment managers and the former president's legal team 2 weeks to prepare for trial. The former president accused of incitement of insurrection in the January 6th breach of the Capitol building by his supporters.
Well, the elite Russian hackers who gained access to computer systems of federal agencies last year didn't bother trying to break into one by one into the networks of each department. Instead, they got inside by sneaking a code into a software update that was pushed out to thousands of government agencies and private companies. U.S. officials and cybersecurity experts have sounded the alarm for years about a problem that has caused havoc, but has defied easy solutions from the government and private sector.
5:19, straight to traffic with Samuel King.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Things looking great on the roads. A lot of green all around at the moment. So if you need to head out now will be a good time to do it. We have some construction tonight. This is in Comal County, north of New Braunfels, from Watson's Lane to Conrad's Lane. They're doing some southbound work on there, so that's something to watch out for overnight. At the moment, on the west side, let's take a look at 151. They had some construction there overnight. That'll continue this week. But right now, things looking good, 8 to 10 minutes between 90 90 and 1604. And here's a look at Transguide, 35 at New Braunfels Avenue, 35 at Loop 410 on the north side. Looking fine, guys.
Still see a couple of damp spots on those roads out there.
Pretty dry when I came in this morning on 281. How about you, Sarah?
No problems this morning. Compared to yesterday when I was driving in with that fog, oh my gosh.
Well, the heavily traveled, and it was interesting looking at some of the highways where, the traffic there tends to dry out, but there was the little streaks of moisture in between. I had in some of the side streets a little bit of moisture. We do have a little bit left over that's going to be coming on through here, some light sprinkly showers. And yeah, speaking of fog, it's a great picture. Love that. I'd make a good, painting over the couch or something. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture. All right, out there at 410, you can see a little bit of reflection off the roads, the headlights off the road. So, yeah, there is still some moisture out there, a little bit damp in places. And then we've got a couple of, well, if you want to call them that, a couple of lines of some light sprinkles that are sliding on through the area. Here's some on the northwest side, almost 1604 and 281, and then right inside the outer loop there, heading in toward I-10. Just one or two of those sprinkles. That next line, which has almost completely fallen apart, that's basically along the front. So we've got sort of, again, two little waves, if you will, moving on in. Kerrville and Hondo, a lot of thick fog. Bernie and Castroville, it's a little bit thicker as well, and not too bad. But the fog may start to thicken up as that line approaches, as the somewhat cooler, drier air runs into all the humidity that we have out there right now. Because you can see in behind, then everything clears out very nicely back out there to the northwest of us. And that dry air will continue, again, to work its way on in here. And with those dew point temperatures that remain very high, then they drop down, and it's going to stay very comfortable the next couple of days. So we'll have some cool mornings, warm afternoons today as well as tomorrow. Not quite as warm, about normal tomorrow. Then we get a shot of some colder air coming in here for Thursday. So that keeps us in the 50s. Then we warm right back up, get more humidity Saturday. Another front knocks those temperatures down. Look at the difference around the country. We're at 70. It is 80 degrees colder. International Falls at -9 right now. That brutally cold air, though, is going to be staying well up there to the north of us. Even Casper's at 3 below zero right now. We do cool down slightly, but not that really cold stuff. That's going to be staying up there to the north. So it'll be, like I said, finally dropping down a little bit below normal for about a day around here by Thursday. Today, 67 at noon. So what's going to be happening is temperatures will drop down as that front moves through this morning, then we'll rebound back to the low 70s later on today with plenty of sunshine. Lower humidity. It is going to be breezy. Winds out of the northwest about 10-20 miles per hour and gusting from there. Tomorrow, 48 starting off, and then we get back up to 71 degrees. I keep forgetting Sarah's out there, so we're going to have to do this kind of a shot. 71 again tomorrow, 48 starting off Wednesday, 65 for high, and then that's the cool days. Thursday, right back to the 70s. By the weekend. No rain for the next 7 days.
I understand that you want to gravitate towards the anchor desk, Mike. That's okay. That's okay.
You'll get it.
We'll see you in a minute. All right. Thank you, Mike. 523, 70 degrees.
Well, coming up next, Sia's latest album is a soundtrack to her upcoming motion picture musical. Details on when it's expected to be released.
We're just a week away from February, which means several big music releases are scheduled.
CNN's Rick Demagella reports.
February kicks off with the release of Foo Fighters' latest album. Medicine at Midnight will mark the Foo's 10th studio album and the first since 2017's Concrete and Gold. 3 singles have been released from it so far, including the latest, Waiting on a War. The album was delayed from its 2020 release due to the pandemic and drops on February 5th. February 12th sees the release of the latest album from Robin Thicke. On Earth and in Heaven was just announced at the beginning of the year and will be Thicke's first new studio album since 2014's Paula. A lyric video for the song Beautiful is out now.
Hey boy, what you got for me? What you got in store?
Sia's latest album is the soundtrack to her upcoming motion picture musical. Music, the movie, is Sia's big screen writing and directorial debut. The musical stars Kate Hudson, Hector Elizondo, Mary Kay Place, and Ben Schwartz. The movie and soundtrack release on February 12th. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Demagella.
That looks wild, doesn't it, Sarah?
Yeah.
527, 70 degrees.
Well, still ahead on GMSA, a local father helps his daughter's dream come true after she put in some hard work. What she had to do to make it happen.
Workforce training program helping people of all ages during the pandemic. How much money you could earn if you qualify. Welcome back and good morning. For just now tuning in, it is Monday, January 25th.
Good morning. So happy to be with you guys on the weekday here on GMSA. Mark, I stayed up a little late watching the football games. Did you?
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, I was kind of pulling for Buffalo last night, but
oh, you were?
Yeah, I was. But everything's set now. We know it's going to be Bucs Chiefs coming up, and the first time the NFL teams ever played a Super Bowl in their home stadium, which is kind of cool for Tom Brady and company.
Very cool, especially against Patrick Mahomes. I think it's going to be a good matchup. What do you think, Mike?
Heck of a Super Bowl, Mike.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're talking about, there's the old guy versus the young kid and the defending Super Bowl champions. 10th Super Bowl appearance for Brady. How many has he won now? 6, I think, and this is going for 7, I believe, or something like that. Anyway, he's got a slew of them, so more on that coming up. But take a look out there. This is 410 looking out to the northwest and got a couple of drops on the lens. It's that line of sprinkly showers that has been coming on in here from the hill country. Now, we're still very warm, still very, very humid. 70, dew point 66. You get above 60. Yeah, you feel the humidity, and it's a sultry, sultry morning out there. So here's this first band of rain, and as you can see, excuse the grammar, there ain't much out there. I mean, this thing's sort of falling apart. Just a few of these light little sprinkly showers kind of right along I-35 right now. A couple more, literally a couple more out there to the west. This is all ahead of and along the cool front that's moving on through here. We also have some reduced visibility. Castroville, Bernie Stage, both at 4 miles. It has dropped down somewhat in Hondo, so we're going to have to watch out for this very thick fog and very thick humidity right out ahead of that front moving on through. Visibility has dropped to just a 1/4 mile in Carrizo Springs, but then it clears out further on out to the northwest. And look at the difference in temperatures. 70 here, Kerrville 64, knocked down another 10 degrees in Rock Springs. So that cooler air will continue to move on in here. So our temperatures will be dropping down somewhat this morning and then rebounding. So we'll get down to right around, say, 60 upper 50s and then come right back in here. And we are going to see more sunshine later on today. It's also going to be a breezy day. Damp on the roads, traffic authority. Samuel King, you know what that means.
Yeah, we're still expecting some of that to make its way into San Antonio proper, but Mike, we're not seeing that quite yet, but we'll of course keep an eye on it. I had a bit of a slowdown here at Fredericksburg Road at 410, down to 16 miles per hour there, so that's something to watch out for. But if you're driving in the stretch from Heber to Woodlawn in the medical center area, about 15 minutes right now. So not too much more than normal, but just something to look out for. And you mentioned some of the fog out to the west, 20 minutes now. The drive time in on 90 from Castroville into downtown, 25 minutes. On I-10 from Bernie, 25 minutes from New Braunfels on 35. And here's a look at TransGuide. Here and there, we're seeing some raindrops, but nothing really too bad yet. We hope that continues. Guys, over to you.
Thank you, Samuel. Well, it's a newly proposed state bill aimed to hold more people accountable for violence against children. Texas House Bill 1009 was just filed, and the local advocate behind it says it's time to make silence a bigger crime, and not just for a child's legal caregivers. In Bexar and surrounding counties, we've had our fair share of heart-wrenching child abuse cases, adding to the sad fact that Texas leads the nation in child death cases.
Complicated and horrendous child death cases. And what I found as an investigator is there was an aunt that knew that this was going on. There was a grandmother, there was a friend, there was a neighbor.
Well, in the current law, those who fail to report suspected child abuse or neglect can be charged with a Class A misdemeanor. But Will Coxon said the charge is not only hard to prove, it's barely being used. So the bill she drafted focuses on those who actually see serious bodily injury. If you suspect or have direct knowledge of child abuse, report it now. You can remain anonymous. The number to call is 1-800-252-5400. Well, we know this pandemic has been devastating for so many reasons, so many lives lost and people in the hospital.
We also know it's led to a shift of technology and focus on mental health. These were two of the topics of this weekend's leading essay.
With the pandemic and people social distancing, so many small businesses have had to pivot to stay open, and that means going online. So we spoke with the head of Jungle Disk, a local cybersecurity firm that specializes in small businesses.
So with the risks of a breach for a small business, it's about losing those critical records that you have to provide to third parties, whether it's the state of Texas for your sales tax, or the IRS, or another regulator, or a business partner, or maybe even your customers.
And we've done so many stories on mental health. We're even hosting a town hall on the subject on January 27th. So we spoke with the president and CEO of Clarity Child Guidance Center about mental health and what it means for our children.
Their peer group is the most important connection they have, and we have really created the situation where they've been withdrawn from that support system, and that's causing some issues. We're also seeing onset of anxiety with kids going back to school, and some fear of being exposed to the virus, or, they've been out of it for so long, transitioning, and it's really impacting academics, levels of anxiety, levels of depression.
We have our leading essay segment every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. We have fascinating and insightful leaders of our community talking about timely issues. See you next Sunday morning. Guys, back to you.
Well, Restore Education is one of the many partners with the city of San Antonio seeing the positive results of the Train for Jobs SA program. Saturday, the organization graduated 60 GED and career training graduates to help further their education and careers during the pandemic.
We've seen, as a result of COVID, with just unprecedented unemployment, that education and training credentials are so important right now to pandemic-proof jobs. And so our short-term programs and a GED can really help individuals get on track to a rewarding career that also provides stable and family-supporting wages.
Well, there are about 11 training tracks for students to participate in free of charge. If they qualify, they can earn $15 an hour for the time and training. There are more opportunities to re-enter the workforce through Train for Jobs SA. If you are interested, visit this story on our website, KSAT.com.
The pandemic has changed yet another tradition here in San Antonio. Talking about cowboy breakfast, organizers announced Sunday that there will not be a public breakfast this year. Instead, meals will be delivered or served to several nonprofits in the area January 29th. The group says that while many nonprofits were worthy of the breakfast celebration, they were only able to host a couple, including Seton Home, Roy Moss Youth Alternatives, and Family Violence Prevention Services. Breakfast not the first event to change in 2021. The annual Fiesta Oyster Bake has also been canceled this year. A decision about many other Fiesta events is expected as early as this week. Well, stimulus talks have restarted, but the pathway appears to be rather bumpy.
President Joe Biden's proposal to boost the U.S. economy and efforts to fight the COVID-19 pandemic is facing some Republican opposition.
CNN's John Lawrence reports.
President Joe Biden says the American Rescue Plan is a top legislative priority. On Sunday, a top White House economic official discussed the $1.9 trillion package with a bipartisan group of senators, a source on the call tells CNN.
I think considerable progress came out of that in terms of building consensus for this plan.
While Biden is pushing for Republican and Democratic lawmakers to work toward an agreement, there's some criticism from the GOP.
We need to understand where the money is going. Are these to individuals or to entities that really need the help? How has the first $900 billion we just passed a couple of weeks ago, how has that been distributed?
Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine tells CNN more funds are needed for vaccine distribution, but adds the additional stimulus checks that the president is proposing are not well targeted. If both sides can't come to terms, Senator Bernie Sanders says the Democrats may use reconciliation, a rare and controversial tactic that could push much of the relief package through.
That is 50 votes in the Senate plus the vice president to pass legislation desperately needed by working families in this country right now.
As Biden waits to see what happens with the plan, he's taking other COVID-related actions, like reinstating international travel restrictions former President Donald Trump moved to ease on his way out the door. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Now just about 5:40, 70 degrees.
Still ahead, people who use DoorDash in big cities may be charged more than others. Details on why the company says it does it.
Apple's working on a new virtual reality headset. A look at the latest product from the tech company coming up.
Taking a look outside with live cam. It's muggy out there. It's warm. Doesn't really feel like a typical January morning, but Mike says some cooler temperatures are on the way with the front. He'll explain what our week forecast looks like when we come back. In your morning consumer headlines, Apple is reportedly working on a new virtual reality headset. Bloomberg reports that the headset will mainly be used as an augmented reality device like Sony's PlayStation virtual reality system. Apple is not saying anything about the project, but tech insiders say the headset will be a high-end niche pair of VR glasses with a more mainstream version to be released later.
DoorDash charging some customers more than others. Late last year, some DoorDash users started getting hit with a puzzling new fee just before checkout. Turns out the fees were happening in cities where local governments place limits on how much delivery platforms can charge local restaurants. Trying to recoup those losses, DoorDash added new customer fees in those cities, which include Chicago, Denver, Philadelphia, Seattle, and others. 543, 70 degrees.
Coming up, a new four-legged friend is changing the life of a young girl suffering from a rare disease. The moment they met, that's next.
KSAT and our community partners are inviting you to join us for our virtual mental health awareness town hall. We'll have a panel of experts explain mental illness. It's all coming up on Wednesday, January 27th, at 2 p.m. More information is available at ksatcommunity.com. Well, for more than a year, 16-year-old Caitlin Barker has been battling a rare disorder that has caused some serious medical complications in her life, including being paralyzed.
We've been following her story since her diagnosis, and recently Caitlin was surprised with a gift that has changed her life. The night team's Daphne Gray with that special moment.
Well, I've always wanted a dog, and Dad said no. So when I had my second lung collapse, so it was really bad. So Dad said I could get a puppy. I was like, this is totally worth it.
It was a surprise of a lifetime for 16-year-old Caitlin Barker, a donated St. Bernard Lab Mix puppy named Midnight.
Hi, baby.
As you can see, Caitlin has been through a lot. July 2019, she was rushed to the hospital for transverse myelitis, a neurological disorder that has paralyzed her and caused several medical complications. After spending over 100 days in the hospital, she's been confined to this bed, but she's come a long way.
And I'm getting better at sitting up.
I look back on a lot of her old videos, I'm like, she just came so far.
It was hard work motivated by Midnight.
When you see her in the bed on a breathing tube, on a feeding tube, paralyzed from the neck down, I didn't want her giving up. I know how bad she wanted a puppy, so I made a deal with her. You get better, we'll get you a puppy.
Month after month, Caitlin fought to get better, and as a result, without a doubt, Midnight has changed her life.
But he'll like to lay by me. It's like a win-win situation. He cleans the crumbs off my bed.
Just to be able to see her smile and just happy, and it's like for a moment not worrying about all her health issues and just getting to be a normal kid.
I'm just proud of her that she hasn't given up and that she's, continued to fight.
Daphne Gray, KSAT 12 News.
Caitlin's family is currently raising money to train Midnight to be her service dog.
Wish her the best of luck. 548 on your Monday morning. Samuel King is standing by with a smile and an update on your morning commute.
That was a great story there.
That was.
But we do have a crash, a newly reported crash this morning. This is on 281 South. This is at Hildebrand. You can see traffic flowing really well at the moment, but here's a look at that on TransGuide from the 281 at the Quarry View. You can see the police, and then you can see a little bit of a slowdown. But again, at this hour, the travel time's looking okay right now. 12 minutes between 1604 and downtown, guys.
Thank you, Samuel. Beautiful picture, Mike.
This is fantastic. If you don't read the caption, it almost looks like something from a, tropical paradise.
Yeah, you pretend it's the Caribbean or something.
Yeah, Lake Travis.
I mean, it's so the color. I don't remember the lake looking that color blue before.
I know.
Blue-green.
Down a little bit, as you can see right there along the the edge of the shore, but boy, that's a great picture. Thank you very much for that. Okay, out there at the airport, we are not seeing anything on this lens as any drops of rain or anything. There were some out at 410 and I-10 over there on the northwest side. Roads do still appear to be kind of damp. You can see the reflection of the headlights off the road right there. And we've got these little sprinkly showers that are moving on through. And there were, like I said, a few of them. There may be a couple little spots here in downtown and up on the northeast side over there, 35, 410, 1604, and then going up 35, a little bit of this, but obviously not much, just enough to make things slippery again. You know, we've got a lot of moisture left over from all the rain that we had, or not all the rain, but that just kind of mist and drizzle we had around yesterday. A couple more little sprinkles out there. Maybe they'll hold together going in toward Uvalde, but that's been falling apart over the past couple of hours. Visibility is still about 4 miles at Bernie as well as Castroville. Hondo, 1.75 miles, so that has actually come up just a little bit, and Kerrville has improved slightly, clearing skies back further out there to the west in behind the front moving on through. So temperatures now dropped down to 59 in Kerrville. It was 65 just about, say, half an hour ago or so. 66 in Bandera, and then further out to the northwest, Rock Springs at 54, and then even 40s way out there to the northwest. So we do have some cooler air coming in here. Winds have started to shift around in Kerrville, 15 miles per hour. It is going to be on the breezy side, northwesterly wind, about 10, 20 miles per hour, gusting from there. Brutally cold air up to the north of us. We just get a little, I mean, barely even a taste of that. Temperatures actually this week will not be, except for one day, Thursday afternoon, will be below normal. High temperatures will be above normal. Low temperatures just a couple of days will be on the below normal side for Thursday morning, Friday morning. But the reason is because all this colder air, I mean, the northerly branch of the jet stream keeps all that really cold stuff up there to the north of us, and we maintain a zonal or even southwesterly flow, so that's going to keep things kind of on the mild, like I said, overall on the mild side, with the exception of Thursday throughout the rest of the week. 67 degrees today at noon. So what's going to happen is temperatures are going to be dropping down, and then as you can see, we're already down to 69 degrees right now, and then we'll come back up to the low 70s later on today. Plenty of sunshine around here. Lower humidity, breezy though, northwesterly wind, 15, 20 miles per hour, gusting, especially in the hill country. 48 tomorrow, 48 Wednesday morning, low 70s tomorrow, and then 65 on Wednesday, 58 Thursday behind another front, right back to the 70s though, and above normal by the weekend.
Thank you, Mike. 552, 69 degrees now.
Tom Hanks, Wonder Woman, and Liam Neeson. After the break, a look at which one of them topped the weekend box office.
But first, here are your lottery numbers. Pick 3, 359, Fireball 0. Daily 4 number 7987, Fireball 6.
Cash 5, 10, 11, 15, 31, 35. Texas Lotto 9, 18, 22, 25, 27, 46. And Powerball 5, 8, 17, 27, 28. Powerball 14. Power Play 3.
Good morning. Coming up on GMA, the new concerns over that coronavirus mutation. The latest on the coronavirus crisis as concerns intensify about those COVID variants. The Biden administration announcing new travel restrictions, plus why one pro basketball team is saying these dogs may help keep their fans safe from the virus. And the new vaccine, hope on the horizon. Dr. Anthony Fauci joins us with the latest. That plus much more right here on GMA. We'll see you all soon.
She needs to laugh and dream.
Tom Hanks and News of the World fell to 5th place on ticket sales of $810,000. $820,000 put Milla Jovovich and Monster Hunter in 4th place. Wonder Woman 1984 made $1.6 million for 3rd place in a domestic total of $37.7 million.
You're not allowed outside the wall? Nope. This farm is like your cave.
Another strong weekend for The Croods: A New Age, which took 2nd place in its 9th weekend out, earning $1.8 million.
You're not safe here. Let's go.
Liam Neeson is still fired up. The Marksman led the box office for the 2nd straight weekend, making $2 million. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
It is now 3 minutes till 69 degrees. Still ahead on GMSA, finding new ways to improve your overall wellness. Tomorrow on GMSA, we're looking into some food suggestions to help you live in a state of calm in 2021. And TransGuide, Samuel King is here, has an eye on things with our friends over at TransGuide. Not seeing a whole lot of moisture on the roads right now, which is a good start for your Monday morning. We get an update on traffic and Mike's full work week forecast coming up right here on GMSA.
Two men are on the run after the Bexar County Sheriff's Office say they were involved in a shooting in Far East Bexar County. The search that's underway coming up.
A new travel ban going into effect as coronavirus variants around the world continue to emerge, but there's some pushback to the new federal rule.
And 69 degrees out there on this muggy Monday morning. Mike says, though, we're going to be having some cooler temperatures later this week. He'll explain on our week forecast in just a bit.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
All right, let's roll. Get a work week going. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, the 25th of January.
Happy Monday. Good to be here. It's a warm, kind of muggy one out there.
Yeah, more like South Florida than South Texas this morning. Mike Osterhage.
Good morning, but that's all going to be changing. So
how soon?
In the next couple of hours, it's already starting to change in portions of the hill country. We have a front moving on through here, and that is pulling in drier air, a little bit cooler air for the morning. Also, now some of this moisture on 410, it still looks like a reflection on the road, maybe left over. There were a couple of sprinkles earlier this morning. You can see we have this line of rain, and yeah, there's some off to the northeast. But most of it here in town, I mean, there's a couple little sprinkles left over on the east side. Those are continuing to move on out. And the secondary line out there to the west is pretty much all just sort of fizzled on out. Visibility, Kerrville, 10 miles. There was a little bit of fog earlier this morning, but that has now cleared on out because the front's moved through. Hondo still at 1.5 miles. It's dropped a little bit. So as this is moving through, we're seeing some of this fog thicken up briefly, and then it starts to clear on out. So we're going to have to watch out for some fog here in town in the next hour or so. Uvalde down to just 0.5 mile. Like I said, Hondo, New Braunfels, a little bit of fog, but then Kerrville back toward Fredericksburg, everything clears out. And also temperatures have continually dropped down. So we're at 70 right now. Mid 60s going out I-10, and then we drop down to 59 degrees. So we will continue to drop down as this front moves through later on this morning. In the next couple of hours, temperatures will drop a little bit, going for about upper 60s here in town. And then we are going to continue to drop down from there. That's at 7 o'clock this morning, so we'll drop down to about 60 by 9, back up to 67. Then we top off at 72 for high temperature later on today with plenty of sunshine around here. Good looking day. It's also going to be on the breezy side. Winds out of the northwest, 10, 20 miles per hour and gusting from there. Coolish mornings, nice afternoons the next couple of days. Then we'll drop down, but won't last for long. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Samuel King, our traffic authority, and see a couple things flashing on the map.
Yeah, good morning, Mike. We have this situation here. This is at 281 and Hildebrand. There is a crash reported there. Let's take a closer look here. And you can see traffic flows pretty well right now. So we do expect this to clear, and I'll tell you why here in a moment. This is a look at TransGuide. You can see the situation in the southbound lanes, but traffic is flowing pretty well. Mike was mentioning the fog to the west, so 21 minutes on 90 coming into downtown San Antonio from Castroville, 25 minutes from Bernie on I-10. So things looking so fine with the travel time so far. This one's starting to build a little bit, this 281 from Belle Verde into downtown. So we'll keep an eye on that. Guys, over to you.
Thank you, Samuel. Well, two men are on the run after a shooting that happened in Far East Bexar County last week. According to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, the suspects are responsible for a shooting that took place outside the Timeout Sports Bar. That's in the 8000 block off of FM 78. That's toward Converse. Our Stephen Convasos is live downtown this morning with the search that's underway. Good morning, Stephen.
Hey, good morning, Sarah. Well, it's been about 3 days since that shooting happened, but BCSO deputies, that is, believe these two men are responsible for firing several gunshots in the area. Now, take a close look here. Witnesses told deputies that the two men walked up to a parked black truck, that is, and began firing several gunshots inside. That's when deputies say the driver of that truck rushed out of the area. Deputies say the two suspects seen in the photo took off in the direction of a Quest gas station. As a result of that shooting, several vehicles were actually hit by bullets, but thankfully no one was injured as a result of that shooting. But a search is now underway for the two men seen in that photo. Now, deputies, of course, are asking for the community's help in identifying these two men. And if you have any information, you're asked to contact Crime Stoppers or number 210-224-STOP. Mark, Sarah?
New this morning, San Antonio police say an argument over a dog barking led to a shooting on the southeast side. Police say it happened just before 11 last night, the 2200 block of Hicks Avenue. That's over near Highlands High School. Police say officers responded to a call about a dog barking and they left the scene. However, later, police say the person who initially called police went over to his neighbor's house with a gun. Police say a bullet grazed the neighbor in the head and he was taken to BAMC. The shooter is now facing charges of aggravated assault.
Well, the area near the Fine Silver Curve near downtown San Antonio has reopened after a rollover truck crash. San Antonio police say the crash happened yesterday around noon at the interchange of I-10 and I-35, and an 18-wheeler hauling honeybees rolled over, and another 18-wheeler carrying the honeybee crates crashed right behind it. The crash caused swarms of bees to escape into San Antonio, causing the interstate to shut down for hours. The San Antonio Fire Department and Vespid Pest Control were called in to help clean up the mess.
They needed our help because of the bees. They were just too aggressive. They were everywhere. They were all over the side of the highway.
Fire crews used a spray foam to get the bees under control, killing most of the bees in the process. Police say the driver was hauling the bees from Florida to California, and a combination of bad weather, speed, and being unfamiliar with the area, particularly the Fine Silver Curve, caused the rollover.
To the pandemic, local health officials are reporting 289 new cases of COVID-19, a significant drop for the past few weeks. However, Mayor Ron Nirenberg says it's likely due to a delay in the city receiving test results from the state. He says that 16 more people have died from the virus. Nearly 1,400 people remain in the hospital due to the virus. Mayor Nirenberg says 138 people in the past 24 hours needed medical attention in Bexar County.
Well, this morning there is growing opposition to President Joe Biden's COVID-19 relief package. It comes as the president announced a new travel ban because of coronavirus mutations around the world.
But there are signs of progress in the fight against the virus. ABC's Kenneth Moten has more.
This morning, a new glimmer of hope in the pandemic. COVID cases are now declining across all regions of the country, and hospitalizations are the lowest since December 14th.
I think the next 4 weeks will really tell a lot whether that dip is just a temporary dip from the highs after the holidays, or we can sustain that downward trajectory to improve our nation.
But over the weekend, the U.S. passing 25 million cases, 5 million of them since January 1st. The death toll now topping 418,000 people. And now President Biden is issuing a new travel ban, restricting travel from South Africa, as well as reimposing the travel ban for Brazil, the UK, Ireland, and 26 European countries, as variants of the virus from South Africa and the UK spread around the world.
The virus is basically telling us that it's going to continue to change, and we've got to be ready for it.
It comes as the White House faces growing pushback after unveiling its $1.9 trillion COVID relief plan. The package would include another round of direct payments to most Americans, this time for $1,400. Although they say they're open to putting more money in Americans' pockets, many Senate Republicans are worried about the bill's overall price tag.
I believe that the economy is going to come roaring back, and spending and borrowing trillions of dollars from the Chinese, among others, is not necessarily the best thing we can do to get our economy to be strong long term.
The bill also includes $160 billion for vaccine distribution. This weekend, the U.S. finally passed 20 million shots administered, a number the Trump administration had promised to reach in December. But some states are being forced to cancel appointments because supplies are running out. The new CDC director acknowledges they're not even sure how much vaccine is out there right now.
The fact that we don't know today, 5 days into this administration and weeks into planning, how much vaccine we have just gives you a sense with the challenges we've been left with.
Kenneth Moten, ABC News, New York.
It's 6:08 and 70 degrees.
We now know the teams playing in Super Bowl 55. We'll have highlights from Championship Sunday and some of the top headlines heading in the NFL's biggest game of the year.
Well, a teenager who lost parts of his hands during a firework explosion is speaking out about what happened. Hear what he has to say about taking explosives seriously.
And outside with live cam. Seriously looking for some changes around here. Very un-January-like weather. Will things get back closer to normal soon? Mike says changes are afoot. Still to come on GMSA. Just about 13 minutes past the hour. It was a story we first brought you here on GMSA exactly 3 weeks ago. A street racing meetup at Eisenhower Flea Market on the northeast side turned into a fireworks disaster with 2 young men losing limbs and fingers.
One of those victims was 19-year-old Michael Sexton. He and his mother met with me back at the very scene where his life was changed forever in a split second.
It was difficult at first, just pulling up. It's kind of like miniature PTSD, I want to say. I don't know, changed my whole perspective on life.
19-year-old Michael Sexton back at the parking lot where a firework exploded in his face and hands on January 3rd. It started as a street racing meetup. Michael said he didn't know the majority of people there. A friend had invited him because he has an interest in cars. Then it turned disastrous.
Since New Year's was around the corner, has just passed, everyone had fireworks, everyone was throwing them. And someone asked me for a lighter. Simple as that. Changed my life forever.
I was on scene that morning covering the aftermath, where you could still see debris from the accident that left a 20-year-old man without hands and Michael without fingers. You can really see the firework debris left behind, all this red confetti. The story went viral on social media, especially after someone posted the video of the horrific accident. It has since been taken down.
I lost a third of 3 fingers, pieces out my pinky, broke both hands, probably losing some vision in my right eye. It's gonna be a hard year.
Michael met with us to tell his story after several negative comments online. He says the young man holding the firework didn't know it had been previously lit, who had asked Michael for the lighter.
I'd rather say my own story than people just make up their belief of what happened, saying it was a dumb choice, which it was, but like they could have known, like I could have known. And I didn't even know the firework was previously lit. Surgeons told Michael until the wounds in his hands heal and they can take out the pins, will they know if he'll be able to use his hands again. Like I was told, I went to BAMC, it's a military hospital, and they told me it looked like something straight out of a combat field. That it's basically a miniature bomb.
Michael doesn't have insurance and lost his job at an automobile service store because of his injury. His mother moving her life from California to take care of her son as he takes a year to recover. She says there needs to be more awareness about the dangers of fireworks and prays it won't happen again.
I wouldn't want this to happen to anybody else. My baby's bad enough. You know, I hope if it helped one person from it not happening to them, then it was worth coming out here.
You know, that awareness she was talking about, calling fireworks, many bombs, explosives, like the doctors told Michael when he was at BAMC. And that was one thing that they said. They're from California. They had never experienced fireworks before. That was one of Michael's first times being around fireworks. And he just says he happened to be standing next to someone who was holding a mortar and didn't know that it had been previously lit, and then it exploded in both of their faces. So at 6 p.m. tonight, we'll talk more about the difference about firework laws across state lines.
One careless night has changed his life forever. 6:16 right now. Let's check traffic with Samuel King.
Good morning, guys. As we mentioned, we thought this accident would be cleared on 281 at Hildebrand, and now it is no longer showing up. So let's take a look at that travel time now here between 1604 and downtown. 12 minutes each way. Things are flowing well. Taking a look at TransGuide, 281 at the Quarry. Again, you can see the traffic starting to move there again. Traffic picking up downtown, though, 35 at Cesar Chavez, Mike.
Yeah, we had a couple of sprinkles on one of the live cams earlier this morning and not seeing anything right now. First of all, Mr. Childers always takes these beautiful pictures. Yes, God's glory. What a great shot. Thank you very much for that KSAT Connect shot. This is South Cam from Brook City Base, looking obviously up toward the north. There's the dome and there's the Tower of the Americas. Just a murky sort of a morning, but nothing is showing up in this picture and not really a heck of a lot, if at all, is showing up on radar. I mean, a couple little sprinkles. Got some up there around Blanco and northern Kendall County. Then we had this line moving on through here, and that touched off a couple of these little sprinkly showers, but looks like most everything. I mean, we've got a few of them perhaps around Seguin and off to the east. Most everything is ended here in town. There could be a little bit of mist left over. We've got to watch out for the fog, though, because as this front is pushing in here, it's really starting to touch off the fog right ahead of it. Bernie Stage, Castroville, Hondo's down to 1.5 miles. We're still at 9 right here in town. A little bit, say, around New Braunfels, but we'll have to watch out for that in the next couple of hours. And then Uvalde, still a 1/4 mile, but that's going to be changing. And then look at how visibility just everything kind of clears out right in behind this front. And temperatures are also dropping down. 70 right now. Go out on I-10, drop to mid-60s, and then into the mid to upper 50s out northwest portions of the hill country out around Kerrville, and even colder air further out to the northwest. That's where we're going to be in the next couple of mornings, down in the upper 40s, mid to upper 40s here in town. So that front's moving along fairly quickly. Wind is shifting around out of the northwest, 9 miles per hour, Kerrville, 13 Rock Springs. It is going to be breezy later on this afternoon. And this is just in the past 24 hours, and most of this has taken place just in the past couple of hours, but these dew points have dropped down 15, 20, 25 degrees or more compared to yesterday, and so that's what we can expect as this moves on through. And it's going to be fairly quickly. This model has dew points dropping a good 20 degrees by 9 o'clock, so the drier air comes on in here. And still we're going to be warming up nicely. This is not a huge blast of cold air, but what it will do is then, like I said, allow temperatures to drop down in the next couple of mornings. So very nice humidity tomorrow morning. And as it tries to work its way back in here, the humidity, then we have another reinforcing shot of dry air and somewhat cooler air coming in here by Thursday. So Thursday is going to be the coolest afternoon, but that won't last all that long. So just a quick little kind of a V shape as far as temperatures this week. 67 degrees today at noon, mostly sunny skies. We'll be dropping down to about 60 by 9 o'clock and then rebounding and then coming back up to 72 later on this afternoon. Plenty of sunshine out there. Tomorrow, another good looking day. 48 degrees, Jack, in the morning. Don't need it in the afternoon. 48 starting off Wednesday. A little bit cooler Wednesday. Then another front moves through. So 58 on Thursday. And that, like I said, will be the coolest day, cool mornings, and then back up into the low 50s for low temperatures, 70s by the weekend once again.
Thank you, Mike. 620, 69 degrees.
Well, there was no magic last night at the AT&T Center for Wizards fans, at least. After the break, we will see the Spurs' big win over the Washington Wizards.
Here's your secret word of the day. Enter it on KSAT.com/Circle K for a monthly chance to win free gas for a year. Every entry wins a medium coffee. Win with Circle K and GMSA.
Okay, everyone, our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Great tasting Ensure with 9 grams of protein, 27 vitamins and minerals, and nutrients to support immune health.
Millions are saying yes to Allegra, the #1 allergist-recommended non-drowsy brand. Allegra works 2 times faster than Claritin, and unlike Zyrtec, it's non-drowsy. Say yes to the fastest non-drowsy 24-hour relief. Allegra.
What's inside Airborne? A blast of immune support that's more than just vitamin C. It's a unique crafted blend of vitamins, minerals, and herbs. It's what makes Airborne your daily dose of confidence. Find our coupon in Sunday's paper.
How did Kellogg's combine crunchy oat clusters with a touch of honey, plump, juicy raisins, and tasty fiber into one delicious cereal? It took a lot of brainstorming. Get it? Kellogg's Raisin Bran Crunch. 2 scoops of delicious.
San Antonio Spurs beat the Washington Wizards last night. Spurs and Wizards played stride for stride in the first half, but the silver and black were able to put things away in the second half. Led by DeJounte Murray's triple-double, Spurs outscored the Wizards by 21 points in that second half. Spurs roll over the Wizards 121-101. Silver and Black took advantage of a rusty Wizards team who played their first game in 2 weeks last night because they haven't had enough eligible players due to the NBA COVID-19 protocol. After the game, Lonnie Walker talked about Murray's second career triple-double and his teammates' impact on the game.
His growth is only continuing to go up. You know, he's a young player and he's doing amazing stuff. Triple-double after triple-double, rebounds. You know, he's our leading rebounder on the team, and he keeps the defensive core energy. You know, he's doing it all. And this is what I'm pretty sure the Spurs expected, and this is just something that I knew what he had all along, and it's great to see him playing his game.
Spurs going back on the road for one game today. They play the Pelicans in New Orleans. Tip off for tonight's game, 8 o'clock San Antonio time. You can watch it on Fox Sports Southwest or watch GMSA tomorrow for highlights.
Pro football coverage powered by Davis Law Firm.
In the NFL, Super Bowl 55 is set after the conference championships yesterday. Buffalo Bills tried knocking off the defending champs in KC. Despite a quick start for the Bills, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs were able to put on a show in their home stadium. Mahomes threw for 325 yards and 3 touchdowns. Chiefs beat the Bills 38-24 to head back to the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, a showdown of Hall of Fame caliber quarterbacks in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers hosting Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Bucs leapt out in front by 18 points in the game, were able to coast for pretty much the rest. Despite Tom Brady throwing 3 interceptions second half, Packers come up short after a pass interference call would allow Tampa to run out the clock. Bucs beat the Packers at Lambeau Field 31-26. So Tampa's heading to Super Bowl 55 but won't have to travel very far. The Buccaneers are the first team in NFL history to play a Super Bowl in their home stadium. It'll also be Tom Brady's 10th Super Bowl appearance. Meanwhile, the Chiefs are looking to win back-to-back championships. The last team to do so, Tom Brady's New England Patriots in 03 and 04. The Super Bowl coming up Sunday, February 7th at 5:30 in the evening on CBS.
I am looking forward to that Super Bowl.
Going to be a heck of a game, isn't it?
I know, it's so exciting.
Right now, it is 626, 69 degrees.
Well, the first step toward an impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump will take place today. The House of Representatives will deliver the article of impeachment to the Senate.
The pandemic has impacted nearly every aspect of our lives, including mental health. We'll see how a local organization is working to help those in need.
Taking a look outside with TransGuide. Our Samuel King has our traffic authority updates throughout the morning. Make sure you stay with us right here on GMSA.
This morning, new allegations about the links that former President Donald Trump went to try to overturn the election. I'm Alex Brachet in Washington. I'll have details coming up.
Outside with live cam, weird weather weekend around here. We had that fog and mist everywhere yesterday, unseasonably warm. And right now we're still hovering around 70 degrees, but Mike is, as you can see from the banner, tracking a cold front. And good morning to you. It's Monday, the 25th of January.
Yeah, that rain yesterday it just felt like be somebody, stop either rain or don't rain. But I'm glad it's over, Mike.
Yeah, we still have a couple little sprinkles that have shown up. Yeah, it wasn't really good weather. I was trying to put up a hunk of fence yesterday, and it wasn't good for doing that outside. So mud cakes on your boots and everything. Anyway, this morning, yeah, it is still murky here in town. Very warm, very humid. Temperatures remain in the low 70s. We're at 70 to be exact. 66 is the dew point. Nothing has really changed in the past couple of hours as far as here in town. We had a few of these sprinkly showers move through. As you can see, even around Blanco, maybe one little cell popping up there. Don't be surprised up around Blanco if there is a clap of thunder or two. But other than that, I mean, just these few little, again, sprinkles, some continuing to work their way well off to the east. And there was a secondary band out there in the hill country, but that has pretty much fallen apart. Now, as this front continues to approach, it is causing visibility to drop down to 2.5 miles. Castroville, Hondo's dropped to 3/4 of a mile. Wait and see what happens at Bernie Stage, but that's probably going to be dropping down as well. So we'll have to watch it in town in the next couple of hours. A lot of thick fog out there around Uvalde as well, but Kerrville, which had some fog, has now completely cleared on out, and temperatures have dropped down into the mid 50s out there, and we are going to be dropping down in the next couple of hours. I'm going for about 8 o'clock or so, 9 o'clock, down to right around 60. So we'll drop down and then come back up throughout the rest of the day. So sunny and breezy later on today. Wind out of the northwest at about 10-20 miles per hour, gusting from there. Tomorrow, once again, sunny and warm, up to 72 today. Same thing tomorrow, pretty much. Then we'll have some cool mornings, though, which is going to be nice. Then we drop down a little bit Wednesday and really cool down on Thursday in behind the next front that moves on through here. That won't last long because we warm right back up in toward the weekend. Details just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Samuel King, and, well, picture looks pretty good.
Yeah, things are looking pretty good, Mike, so far, but there are some of those fog and that low clouds you were talking about showing up on some of the TransGuide cameras, so just wanted to give people a look at that. But the overview right now, as we zoom in on San Antonio itself, looking all green here in town. Let's take a look at 90 here on the west side between 1604 and 35, 11 minutes once you reach 1604 to I-35. And here's a look at some travel times coming in, 24 minutes right now from Bernie, so that's still a good travel time. We'll watch that. 26 minutes on 35 from New Braunfels, 30 minutes on I-10 from Seguin, and 30 minutes from the Floresville area into downtown San Antonio. Guys, over to you.
An argument between neighbors ends in gunfire. That shooting happening last night, the 2200 block of Hicks Avenue and Clark over on the city's southeast side. Our Stephen Cavazos live downtown this morning with more on our top story. Stephen, what do we know about the moments that led up to the shooting?
Good morning, Mark. Well, the motive behind the shooting or those moments are still not known. However, San Antonio police do say this all started with a dog. Now, they say they were actually in the area earlier that evening responding to a disturbance over that dog. However, they were called back out later that night when they say an argument between the two neighbors escalated when one brought a gun into the argument and then pulled the trigger. Now, we do know that this all unfolded just before 11 last night, and according to police, a man in his 30s was rushed to SAMC with a gunshot grazed to the head. However, he is expected to recover. But police say the suspect actually ran from the scene and was later caught. Now, police have not said if the dog actually led to the altercation between the two men. However, again, that man that was shot is expected to recover from his injury. However, his neighbor now faces an aggravated assault charge. Reporting live just downtown, Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News. Mark.
Thank you, Stephen. Well, the pandemic has been devastating for so many people, and the struggles many face have led to push to focus on mental health. Max Massey takes a look at how that push is impacting people here in San Antonio.
With the pandemic and people social distancing, so many small businesses have had to pivot to stay open, and that means going online. So we spoke with the head of Jungle Disk, a local cybersecurity firm that specializes in small businesses.
So with the risks of a breach for a small business, it's about losing those critical records that you have to provide to third parties, whether it's the state of Texas for your sales tax or the IRS or another regulator or a business partner, or maybe even your customers.
And we've done so many stories on mental health. We're even hosting a town hall on the subject on January 27th. So we spoke with the president and CEO of Clarity Child Guidance Center about mental health and what it means for our children.
Their peer group is the most important connection they have, and we have really created the situation where they've been withdrawn from that support system, and that's causing some issues. We're also seeing onset of anxiety with kids going back to school, and some fear of being exposed to the virus, or, they've been out of it for so long, transitioning, and it's really impacting academics, levels of anxiety, levels of depression.
We have our leading essay segment every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. We have fascinating and insightful leaders of our community talking about timely issues. See you next Sunday morning. Guys, back to you.
The pandemic has changed yet another tradition here in San Antonio, the annual Cowboy Breakfast. Organizers announced Sunday there will not be a public breakfast this year. Instead, meals will be served to several nonprofits in the area January 29. The group says while many nonprofits were worthy of the breakfast celebration, they were only able to host a couple. including Seton Home, Roy Moss Youth Alternatives, and Family Violence Prevention Services. Breakfast not the first event to see changes in 2021. The annual Fiesta Oyster Bake has also been canceled this year. A decision about many other Fiesta events is expected sometime this week.
Well, this morning, the U.S. House of Representatives is planning to deliver the single article of impeachment against former President Donald Trump to the Senate. Democrats and Republicans in the Senate have agreed to a 2-week delay for the start of the trial.
But this morning, the former president is facing new allegations that could come up at his trial. ABC's Alex Preche has more.
Good morning. Imagine this. That article of impeachment will be hand-delivered to the Senate in the same chamber where nearly 3 weeks ago, rioters stormed, ultimately setting the table for the first trial of a former president in American history. In a matter of hours, the House will send that single article of impeachment to the Senate. And this morning, Democrats are voicing outrage over new allegations that former President Donald Trump considered using his Justice Department to try to overturn the election.
As if it's not enough that he sent an angry mob down the mall to invade the Capitol.
The Wall Street Journal reports that Trump wanted the department to sue states in the Supreme Court. And when that plan failed, the New York Times says he allegedly plotted to remove his acting attorney general and replace him with a loyalist who was willing to help
fight like hell.
The former president is already charged with incitement of insurrection after he urged his supporters to march to the Capitol. His impeachment trial now scheduled to start the week of February 8th.
It will be fair, but it will move at a relatively fast pace.
Democrats would need at least 17 Republicans to vote to convict Trump. A growing number of Republicans are now blasting the trial before it even begins.
I think the trial is stupid. I think it's counterproductive.
On Tuesday, senators will be sworn in as jurors, but both sides have agreed to delay the trial for 2 weeks. That'll allow the Trump team more time to prepare and also give Democrats a chance to confirm President Biden's cabinet nominations and work on other legislation. Alex Preche, ABC News, Washington.
President Joe Biden expected to lift a ban on transgender people serving in our military early this week. Associated Press reports the president could sign an executive order as early as today. The move coming as no surprise because the White House press secretary has said the president plans to make the change early in his presidency. President Biden's newly confirmed defense secretary also supports the move, calling for it in his confirmation hearing. Former President Trump instituted the ban back in 2017.
Well, a new study says there's been a steady decline in the number of wild bee species over the past few decades. According to bee records in the Global Biodiversity Information Facility, there's been a 25% drop in bee species reported between 2006 and 2015 compared to the 1990s. Researchers say climate issues, foreign species, and a loss of habitat might explain the decline in bees, but some think fewer people may be reporting on bees, which could also explain that less data that's been collected.
Just about 6:40, 69 degrees.
Well, what we eat can have a big impact on our mental health. After the break, we take a look at the snacks that dietitians say make you feel better.
New year, new you, right? Are you feeling less stressed already? Here's some food suggestions to make life in 2021 a little more calm. According to Felicia Peraza, a Philadelphia-based registered dietitian who helps stressed out clients find natural ways to improve their overall wellness, there are easy ways to help lower your stress just via your diet. So open your palate to oily fish. Try out anchovies, sardines, and herring, all in addition to salmon, trout, and mackerel. These foods are a rich source of stress-busting omega-3 fatty acids, which play an important role in brain health. Then you can mix it up with shellfish, mussels, clams, oysters. They're all rich in vitamin B12 in addition to omega-3s, which are both prominent nutrients in diets connected to lower anxiety. In fact, B vitamins, including vitamin B12, helps maintain the nervous system, and stress can cause a slight increase in the body's requirements of those B vitamins. Consume more vitamin C. Foods like red and green peppers, oranges, grapefruits, even kiwi. They're rich in vitamin C, which in high doses has antidepressant effects and improves your mood, and it may be helpful in treating stress-related disorders. Choose healthy carbs. Carbohydrates can help boost serotonin production in the brain, which is key in influencing our mood. Complex carbs like whole grains and vegetables, they can help boost levels of serotonin, and research shows sweets and candies, Well, they're not good. They can actually make you experience blood sugar spikes and crashes, and they can make you actually feel more stressed. Guys, back to you.
644, 68 degrees.
We're going to check in with Samuel King with our traffic authority.
Well, now I'm just hungry. And on most of the roads, if you are also hungry before you head to work, you have some time to get out and do that because things are looking pretty good. We do have some construction this week on I-10 at La Cantera Road between 9 and 3 today through Wednesday. They're doing some work out there, so a limited closure there, but it's still going to be out there. Looking at I-10 right now between Bernie and downtown, 24 minutes, 25 minutes if you head the other way, and then inside 1604, 12 to 13 minutes each way. So that's still looking good. And 281, also some overnight construction right now, typical 8 to 9 minutes between Bulverde Road and 1604. And here's a look at TransGuide. I-10 at the Y looking fine today, 35 at Alamo looking fine as well, guys.
Thank you, Samuel. Somebody captured a digital image of the mothership from Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah, this is very, actually, I have to admit, I had to look twice at this. I was like, what in the world? And then finally I could see the base of the Tower of the Americas there, but that's a really cool shot. And that's how you get UFO stories going on. So beautiful picture. Thank you very much. And if you can, make sure you remember to turn your camera sideways, please, when you send those KSAT Connect pictures in. Mold is on the high side. Hopefully, now, of course, today's count's going to be coming out at, well, maybe not another half an hour or so. I don't know if it's going to do too much with the mold count, but hopefully then by tomorrow that will be dropping down, given the fact we have some drier air moving on in here. And mountain cedar's also on the high side. It's about time you start coming to the end of the mountain cedar season pretty soon, I think. Isn't it, what, first couple of weeks of February or something like that?
When cedar ends?
Yeah.
Typically done by about Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Thanksgiving to Valentine's.
Okay, so we got another couple of weeks to go with that. Mark is our mountain cedar expert, by the way. That's his middle name. Still murky out there this morning, and we've had a couple of little sprinkly showers move on through. Obviously, not much. There's basically two lines. This first one that slid on through here touched off a couple of sprinkles, and then the second one, which has pretty much all fallen apart. One or two of those still left over there up around Blanco. We had those couple of sprinkles, so the roads may be damp in spots. Visibility has dropped at Bernie Stage. It's good at the airport, but Port SA and the airport probably going to be dropping down as the front moves on through, because Castroville, Bernie, and Hondo have all dropped down, but then it cleared out in Kerrville. Temperatures have dropped down as well. We've dropped 2 degrees now, down to 68, 56 in Kerrville, so that cooler air will come in here. So we will be dropping down later on this morning and then rebounding back up into the low 70s, kind of where we started off earlier this morning. Wind is starting to shift around as well. No wind out there at the airport up around Bernie Stage, but then it comes in out of the northwest, and it's going to be breezy later on today. And again, the models have all that drier air coming in here by probably later on in the next couple of hours, and it is bone dry air. Dew points drop off a good 25, 30 degrees or so in behind that front that moves on through. So we keep the low dew points around the next couple of days. Starts to come back up on Saturday, and then another front's going to move on through here. Now, unfortunately, other than the few little sprinkly showers we've had around here this morning, nothing as far as any rain the next 7 days. Just everything's going to be coming through dry, and no real big blast of cold air. Now, we will be in the upper 50s Thursday, starting off in the upper 30s. So yes, below normal readings, but none of this stuff. I mean, it's 11 below now in International Falls, 0 Casper, 6 Cut Bank, but all that brutally cold Arctic air is going to be staying up there to the north. And overall, we're going to be staying, like I said, with one exception, staying on the warm side of things throughout the rest of the week. 67 degrees today at noon, mostly sunny skies. Again, we drop down the next couple of hours, come back up to 72 later on this afternoon. And then tomorrow, we start off a little cooler in the morning, 48, same thing Wednesday, back up into the 70s. 65 Wednesday, 58, that's the cool day. So it's basically with high temperatures, kind of a V shape, 70s on either end, and we are at 58 in the middle there. Few extra clouds Thursday, Friday, but other than that, not a drop of rain in the forecast.
And quite a change going into tomorrow morning, Mike.
Yeah, it'll be jacket weather tomorrow morning, and then no jacket in the afternoon.
We're ready, aren't we, Sarah?
Ready.
Ready. 649, 68 degrees.
Well, different people across the country have had to deal with the stress of the past year in different ways. Tomorrow on GMSA, how Texas stacks up when it comes to the most stressed out states in the nation.
Outside with Live Cam, we'll get another look at traffic coming up with Samuel King as you wake up early on this Monday morning. Thanks for starting your day with GMSA.
In this morning's GMA First Look, how COVID-sniffing dogs could hold the key to getting fans back into seats for the Miami Heat's basketball games, something the organization says it's been working on for months. Similar to the canines on patrol at airports around the world, later this week the Miami Heat will station specially trained dogs at entrances to the American Airlines Arena to try to sniff out the virus that causes COVID-19. Here's the plan. Dogs will sniff fans before entering by walking past them. If the dog sits, that signals they may have detected COVID-19, and that fan will be asked to leave along with their group and given a full refund.
It's really, really interesting. Dogs are amazing creatures, and their noses are way more powerful than ours.
Coming up at 7 a.m., we dive into whether this Pooch Patrol will work to keep spectators safe. Is this the future of big live events? With your GMA First Look, I'm Victor Oquendo, ABC News, Miami.
San Antonio police say it all began with a call about a disturbance over a dog, but things quickly escalated between two neighbors when one brought a gun to an argument and then pulled the trigger. Now, according to police, a man in his 30s was rushed to SAMC with a gunshot graze to the head. Police arrived on the scene at the 2000 blocks of Hicks Avenue. That's over on the southeast side of the city. But police say the suspect actually ran from that scene, but was later caught. Now, we still don't know what actually led to the shooting, and police have not said if the dog had led to the altercation between the two men. Now, the man who was shot is expected to recover. However, his neighbor now faces an aggravated assault charge. Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News.
KSAT and our community partners inviting you to join us for our virtual mental health awareness town hall this week. We'll have a panel of experts here Wednesday, January 27th at 2 p.m. More information is at ksatcommunity.com.
We're going to check in with Samuel King one more time for our traffic authority.
Hey, good morning, Sarah and Mark. Things looking fine this morning. Let's take a look at Bandera Road. If you're commuting there between 410 and 1604, 11 minutes and 10 minutes going the other way, so things looking fine there. Let's look to the north and east to Seguin and New Braunfels, about half an hour from Seguin to downtown San Antonio, 35 on 35, 26 minutes. Looking good there. And here's a look at TransGuide. You can see some of the cloudiness and humidity out there, Mike.
Yeah, here in town, but that's all going to be changing. Also watch out for maybe a couple little bits of sprinkles here and there, and also some fog to develop in the next couple of hours. So we've got a lot around Hondo, Castroville, Bernie Stage. Not bad in town, but as this front moves through, it seems to be helping to decrease visibility briefly. 67 now here in town, mid-50s in Kerrville. Much drier air is going to continue to work its way on in here as the front moves through just in the next couple of hours. 67 then again at noon, 72 for high temperature, and we are going to have winds out of the northwest at about 10 to 20 and kind of gusty today.
All right, thank you, Mike. For Sarah Costa and everybody here on GMSA, thanks for starting your work week with us. Good Morning America is coming up next. We'll see you back here for GMSA at 9.
See you at 9.